Good morning, Britain. The case for the defence. Boris Johnson fights to save his political career. The former Prime Minister is expected to publish a 50-page dossier today, which his supporters claim will provide a bombshell defence against accusations he misled Parliament over Partygate.
And Boris Johnson will also face a 4-hour grilling by MPs later this week, live on television. At stake is his integrity, his reputation, and his chances of ever making a political comeback.
Deportation flights taking migrants to Rwanda could soon be taking off, with Home Secretary Suella Braverman said to be confident the European judges will back down on their objections to the plans.
That is the emergency alert being sent to all mobile phones in a nationwide test next month on the 23rd of April. Ministers say it's a sound that could save your life, particularly in cases of severe weather. Critics claim another example of government control. Let us know what you think this morning.
And what do you do when an airline fails to pay a refund after cancelling your flights? We meet holidaymaker Russell Quirk, who waited months to get his money back from Wizz Air before he then sent the bailiffs round to Luton Airport.
And Mark Wright proved he has the right stuff when he completed the London Marathon last year. This year, it's a family affair with Mum Carol, Dad Mark Sr. and brother Josh all taking part. And they will be in the studio for training after 8.
Good morning. It is the spring equinox. I am at the most easterly point in the UK, Nest Point, to witness the sunrise. It is a cloudy start to the day, unfortunately, and the outlook for many unsettled this week. I'll have all the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 20th of March, 2023, live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Susanna Reid and Ed Balls.
Very good morning to you. It's 2 minutes past 6. The emergency phone alert is getting some people quite concerned. So April the 23rd, there's going to be this new government public warning system. It's going to be put to the test. And this is what you're going to hear. It's going to be a 10-second warning on your phone with a vibration and that sound. The only way that you're going to continue being able to use your phone in the circumstances that you get the emergency alert is by acknowledging it. I was slightly alarmed.
Put the date in your diary.
Yes.
Because, you know, if your phone suddenly starts bleeping at you, the danger is the whole country will be in consternation and panic because they'll think there's an emergency going on. And, in fact, it's only a test and a trial, but it will be quite destabilising, I think.
What do you think about the politics of this? And I don't mean the party politics, I mean the kind of messaging of this. You know, we're in a situation where Europe is at war right now. We've come out of a pandemic where people got frustrated with the alerts on their phone.
Being pinged.
So you might be somebody who thinks, oh, my goodness, more government pinging of me, just annoying, I'll switch it off. Because apparently, despite the fact that it's an important emergency alert, you can go to your phone settings and switch off emergency alerts. So what's the point?
The government minister, Mr Dowden, was on the TV yesterday saying, don't worry, if you want, you can cancel your emergency alerts. But that seemed to be slightly counter to what the government's trying to achieve. I mean, presumably they want you to keep the alerts on, so if it's actually an emergency, you get it.
Then you're alerted. On the other hand, there will be people thinking, we're all a little bit worried about President Putin, and this morning we're going to be talking to the person who wants to bring him to justice, the International Criminal Court chief prosecutor. When they get an emergency alert, they might think, is the reason the government's bringing this in now for some other reason that we're not being told about? Because surely if it's for floods, then your local council would, or your local police or your local Coast Guard would tell you.
It's quite striking, though, isn't it, to think, I mean, maybe this is obvious, if the government wants to, they can contact now pretty much the whole country, not everybody, but everybody with a mobile phone can all be communicated to by the government in that moment with a ping. I mean, you know, I'm no sort of big brother, big state kind of scaremonger, but it's quite a striking thing that they can communicate with everybody in that way through our mobile phones.
So the Environment Agency already, my environment expert is telling me in my ear, the Environment Agency, you might well have received an alert if there is flooding or a weather issue in your area. Why do we need the national government to be introducing it to all of our phones? People are going to wonder, and some people might be anxious about it and some people might be annoyed about it. I'm not sure that they've got the explanation quite right.
There was a famous moment in America in the last century where there was a play of War of the Worlds, the H.G. Wells play, and they didn't tell people that it was a play. They just played it on American radio, and, you know, very many thousands of people thought the invasion was underway. So that's why I'm saying April the 23rd. If your phone pings, don't worry, that is not the emergency. As Corporal Jones would say in Dad's Army, don't panic, don't panic, don't panic.
Right, let us know what you think. It would be really useful to speak to a government minister about that this morning, because we seem to have just got a little bit of information about it, not quite enough information about it. Just
to say, we've also got a story we're discussing in this hour with our own ITN correspondent, Dan Hewitt, about an issue in schools. Apparently, there's a certain kind of concrete which was put into schools in the 60s and the 70s, which turns out to be flaky now. It's decayed. And there was a school recently, 4 or 5 years ago, where the roof suddenly collapsed, luckily at the weekend. The government's known about this since 2018. Apparently, we still don't know which are the schools which have got this concrete in the roofs. And again, we thought that would be something that the government would want to come and talk to us about. And unfortunately, we don't have a minister to talk to about that either. But it's not too late. No, it's not too late. And luckily, Dan Hewitt, the ITV News investigations correspondent, is going to be here to explain if you're concerned that your school is at risk. If I was the Education Secretary, you know, were I to be the Education Secretary... And, funnily enough, you have been. Yeah, I would think that reassuring parents we've got this under control and that our children are safe would be really important. And I would say to one of my ministers, get on GMB before 9 o'clock and reassure people that we've got a grip on this, because we don't want our kids going to school and not knowing whether the roof might literally fall on them during the school day. Yeah. Shouldn't you have a minister to come and tell us about this? Yeah, you would have thought so. I mean, they've only had 5 years. However, we do have advance warning of what Boris Johnson is going to do in order to save his political career, and that's our main news this morning. It's a 50-page dossier. It's due to be made public today, and his lawyers are going to claim that the investigation by MPs into whether he lied to Parliament over the Partygate scandal is unlawful and biased. The former Prime Minister is going to face a 4-hour interrogation by the Commons Privileges Committee on Wednesday. If it decides against him, he could be suspended from the Commons. It could even trigger a by-election. Our political correspondent, Louisa James, is at Westminster. Louisa, the allies of Boris Johnson are now saying that this is a bombshell dossier which is going to prove that he didn't knowingly mislead Parliament. Are they feeling confident they can win this one?